Hey, welcome to the Kink'D AF podcast. We're your hosts, Mika,
Frankie,
Khira,
Alex,
and Krystle.
here to sort of detangle the kinks.
Wait, like combing? No, we're not combing out our hair. We're deconditioning.
Unlearning the ideas that were imposed on us by others. Sharing our stories as Black and brown women navigating the kinks of life from personal growth, healing, and friendship.
Even the things too kinky to talk about in the office.
We're Kink'D AF.
Hey, welcome back to the Kink'D AF podcast. We are so glad you decided to join us again on our very first episode, where we get to introduce a topic this time.
Yes. Welcome back, everybody. We still over here tired, but you know.
We doing it.
We doing it.
Kink
For
as
you.
fuck, but tired as fuck too.
Yep.
Tired as fuck. My mama would say that.
I was promised breakfast.
You tried to go to sleep. I woke you up.
You did, and then mad loud. I was like,
I mean, how else am I supposed to wake you up? Quietly?
yes, wake me up soft.
they-
Even I don't think that's a Puerto Rican way.
They have no idea. Okay, so y'all, we trying our best here to give you all the glory of us. So we did a slumber party.
Little slumber, very little slumber.
It's so funny to say that, like, once you're an adult. We did a slumber party.
We spent a night.
Spend
spent a night.
The fact that I had to pack my spend a night bag to come be with y'all.
And we ain't giving you no sex.
Listen, only panty draws, no thongs. Only period panties.
Literally.
Shout now, Victoria's Secret period panties.
Cut the check.
Cut the
Vic,
check.
Cut the check.
check because I love them things. I only use 4 tampons this cycle with the panties.
Tell us more about that.
So I've been wanting to try the period panties that basically collect your blood, I guess, and in lieu of wearing a pad or a tampon.
Like free bleeding.
Free bleeding. It throws you off because you're like, oh shit, I don't got nothing on, and then you're like, oh wait, the panties got shit. Yay. So I got 2 pair. I need to go back and get some more. They were on sale, so I said, hey, why not? So the ones I have on now are the boxer brief looking ones, and they hold 3 regular tampons. And then the one that looks like a panty holds 2 regular tampons. So basically I wore 2 while I was at work, free bled in the ones at night, and then changed into the heavy ones to wear while I was asleep. And so I only basically wore 2 tampons per day. And then yesterday it was my light day, so I just wore the 3 all day.
Isn't it something? We're talking about tampons and free bleeding. My grandmother would have never.
No. They were like, why you putting that grease tray under you?
What?
Oh my god!
Not a grease tray.
No, but do you
And that's
remember
so
that?
true. And especially how we would have said free blood. They would have been like, oh, you think you're a vampire?
But why is there so much, stigma around bleeding? That's natural. It means my body's doing what it's supposed to do.
But also the stigma with inserting a tampon.
Oh,
It's
yo,
you don't want to lose your virginity.
Yo, you know how many girls, because I used to teach at a predominantly Hispanic school, but I was the volleyball coach, and I'm like, you need a tampon? And she's like, oh, no, I can't wear those. I was like, oh, why? And she goes, I lose my virginity. I said, baby, that ain't how this works. And then, because I grew up, on the other hand, my mom was a dancer. And so she was like, baby, if you're going to go to this pool party, you're going to either wear this tampon or you can't, you ain't going. So that's when I learned to wear a tampon in 6th grade. So that just threw me off. I'm like, lose your virginity, girl. Have you seen a dick? A dick and a tampon are not the same. Well,
What's trending right now? Men are using it's on
I seen that.
media. Men are using maxi pads to
Their
catch
balls sweat.
the gooch grease.
why we call it grease?
Gooch grease is a combination of butt juice, ball juice.
That's nasty.
That's
lint.
lit.
Yeah.
They're dusty. They dusty?
They don't.
These
shower.
men's out here
They ain't
dusty.
washing.
Right.
It's just summer. It's
Listen,
summertime.
ladies, stay
But I
away
can't
from the
shame
brothers
them because
using...
I'll get wet. I get crazy.
That's why I carry the wipes.
Nah.
I got the little pocket wipes in my purse.
Ladies, stay away from the brothers using all that. If they have all that going on, they're definitely going to throw off your pH. Just saying.
Yeah.
Or maybe they might save your pH because they have it.
They have the grease collector.
They have sanitized the gooch area.
Did they sanitize just because they were in a pad?
I mean, it ain't.
I don't
ain't
feel
just settling
sanitized.
in their balls.
Ooh. I don't know.
I don't
wanna
feel
find out.
sanitized after
I'm
that.
not
Don't
sold
wanna
on
fall.
that. Yeah, especially because it's called
Man, if you
gooch.
wanna
That's
tell
too
us
close
a-
to cooch.
It's not really a.
So, okay, if you were about to, do the thing with somebody that has that on, do they go to the restroom real quick?
Do you excuse yourself?
But wait, do you reach over and feel the pad and you're just like, is this
what's going on?
This is a Ken situation, Ken doll situation.
Kind of like when dudes be feeling on us and they be like, you on your period? So we're going to be like, what? Wait, do you wear a diaper?
Listen, sympathetic menstruation.
Listen, if my former church members or church friends heard us talking about men's gooch and stuff like that, ooh, Jesus, I can only imagine the judgment.
It's bodies. But
I mean, my godfather's a pastor, so hey, daddy, how you
We're
doing?
all human.
We are all human.
I feel like we had to come to a point in our lives that we had to decide for ourselves, like, listen, this is my body. If I choose to free bleed, I'm a free bleed. Even if mom taught me to use a pad or whatever. Yeah. Like, that makes me think of today's topic, wholesome becoming. So it's a play on words, wholesome. Yeah, the goal is to be wholesome, maybe. I don't know, but what does that mean? Like, does that mean that we're pristine and perfect? Does that mean that we didn't make mistakes and we did things exactly how our families taught us, the way that we were taught by society, or how it should be under the white gaze as far as, you know, the world is concerned? So I want to share about a time when I had to pivot in my life. I had like a little paradigm shift. And it was like basically when I realized that I was not showing up authentically, especially into the workspace. For me, it was like I was doing a lot of code switching, you know? So I would talk one way with my friends and my family, and then I would go to work and I'd sound like somebody else.
Hi, Mika.
Sure. No
Was
problem.
it Mika or Tamika? Like,
hey, Tamika, no worries. They'd always mess up my name too. For whatever reason, me saying Tamika sounds like Samika. And I'd go with this back
They're
and
being
forth.
extra with it.
Yes.
Tamika.
Tamika. Chamika.
Whoa.
Samika? Tamika. Zamika.
What S do you see?
What kind of S do you believe in?
Are you dyslexic?
At that point, I'm gonna be like, you know what? I'm not even gonna judge you for your lisp. Continue. Like, I'm gonna give you a disability on site.
I'm gonna treat him like a nail salon. It turned into Tammy. My name's Tammy now.
There you go.
Go ahead.
There you go.
Wow.
With a name Tammy.
I hate that they have to
Tammy.
do that, though.
I hate that too.
I actually asked them. I'm
I
like, what's your
actually
name? You're not going to write it down. And I was like, listen, I teach language, so, like, every language but English, it's how it sounds.
Yeah.
So I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a friend said, if people can say charcuterie board, they can say
But I can't, though.
I can't say it like really fast.
And you know what other word I can't say? Should I embarrass myself this early in the game?
I mean,
you know the tip when you had a big party at the dinner and they add the
Gratuity?
I can't say that damn word.
gratuity.
Gratuity.
Let's try it. Gratuity.
I already tried the sounding out thing, baby. I can't say it.
I mean, she is a teacher.
I'm a teacher. Gratuity.
People always correct me when I say humans, Houston, and humid.
What?
What
Okay.
did you just say?
I say humans,
Humans?
Houston, and
Houston.
yeah, and humans.
Humans.
I remember you told
Humans
me
in Houston. Okay.
that. Houston. Humid.
Yeah, Houston.
Human.
Hugh.
Or you know, if you're in New York, Houston is how my GPS says
You
it.
know what?
My GPS says that
That
too.
is true.
Yeah,
That is
Houston.
true. I've always wondered. Like, I'm here and I'm like, is this Houston Street or Houston Street?
It's Houston.
It's
It's
the
Texas.
Dutch. It's the
I mean,
Dutch.
think about it. Like, you know, other people coming in the Dallas area. Lancaster. It's Lancaster.
No, it's Lancaster, bro.
It's Lancaster.
There's a Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
That's a
Hershey,
Lancaster, Florida.
Yeah, they're
Well,
Lancaster.
Florida. I mean, not Florida, California, where Coach Carter.
Oh yeah.
They was in Lancaster too.
Yeah. So wholesome, H-O apostrophe. Everybody was a hoe once. Even our mamas and our grandmothers. Well, my grandmother was a saint. Never mind. She prayed for everybody. Everybody's grandmother prayed. No, okay. Only my grandma prayed for everybody. But nonetheless, wholesome becoming. It's I mean, shit. I grew up Pentecostal. Who grew up Pentecostal?
Me too.
Yeah.
So y'all didn't wear pants?
No, long skirts to the ankles. If
No
my ankles
earrings.
showed.
But my mom only like made me be Pentecostal on Sundays. Yeah, I was. Yeah, she didn't enforce the rules Monday through Saturday.
But at church, you better have them ankles covered.
Yeah, I remember I wanted to wear my 5th grade graduation dress, and then it was just like what are you doing? What's wrong with you? That's not past your knees. I'm like, but you bought it for me. I wore it like last week.
How does that work?
Yeah, it's crazy. But nonetheless, grew up Pentecostal, religious. Anybody got religious upbringing?
Mm-hmm. I remember I had the same situation. Like, I remember that I used to go to church, and but it was always like the Hispanic Pentecostal churches in New York. Yeah, and I remember that church had a long name, and it was very daunting. It was like
They do be having
the name.
senses.
I don't know if like it's cool for me to say the name, but like the name was like "The End Is Near," and it's like,
What?
ouch. So like, let me hurry up.
I don't want to go
and
there.
I think it was literally in what used to be like, I guess, a mechanic shop or like a garage, so it had a ramp. So the mural said, el fin se acerca. And it's like, the end is near. And I'm like, I better get up this ramp before I miss the rapture or something.
The
Left
rapture.
behind.
Okay, that's another.
So I feel
thing.
like that equates to like black Kojic culture. I get Kojic, Church of God in Christ. That's where the ankle,
The white.
the skirt goes down to the ankle. You know, you're not allowed to wear certain things in church. I never grew up Kojic because my mama likes to wear pants.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think that's how that relates to the black culture here.
You know what's so messed up? I used to wear those outfits just to go to church, right? But I didn't really dress that way.
No.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't being authentic. I really did not dress that way. And I would go to school, high school, in my tight jeans, Pepe jeans. Y'all remember Pepe jeans?
right.
Y'all remember Pepe jeans?
Hey, we're looking for Pepe
I was
sponsors.
in my Pepe jeans. and in my construction Tims, because I'm from New York.
Oh, yeah.
in the
Construction.
pride. So I have my what is it? My butters.
Yup, your butters add the beef
The
and
butters
broccolis.
that you don't want to crease. Don't crease
Beef
the
and
butters.
broccoli.
Beef and broccolis, the chocolates.
But yeah, I would go to school with my, my regular clothes, and I would run into people who were also from church, and they would see me in jeans and stuff, and they'd be like, "What are you doing wearing jeans? You have earrings on too?"
You can't wear earrings?
No,
It's too many rules.
you weren't supposed to wear pants, you weren't supposed to wear earrings, and your hair really should have always been up and never really cut. You wear your hair long.
Yeah, I've seen that with some of the girls I taught, and then one of them, she was Pentecostal, and she was like, "I'm not wearing no skirt, Miss Thomas. My jeans in the backpack." And I was like, "Okay."
And disclaimer, we're not shitting on any denomination.
Definitely
it's
not.
just our upbringing. It's just our experience. And I know you. So you grew up Kojic.
No, I didn't grow up Kojic, but I know
She was
Kojic.
just comparing.
What you grew up?
Just regular old. Well, my church was interdenominational, so we took from like all walks of denominations, really and truly. So there was no really set rules.
Like a universalism?
Yeah.
Okay.
Non-denominational type of thing.
And then you,
Just regular Baptist.
Baptist?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Just regular. Like, I went to, like, the most I remember, like, in high school when I went to church, I went to, like, it was mostly white, Baptist church. And that was different compared to the Black Baptist church, I will say.
You know, it's really weird. I actually enjoyed white church more than I enjoyed
Because they get out on
Because they
time.
finish on time.
It's not. No, it wasn't even about finishing on time. I think I didn't understand like preaching until I went to a white church, and it was because I felt like the message was taught to me instead of preached at me. I understood. Like I loved that the pastor that I had at the time, shout out to Matt Chandler, would actually break down like an entire chapter of a like book, because you know people come in with the verse
And that's it. You don't got context.
you know, and
harp on that one last word.
harp on that one little verse, and then you go back and look at it and you like, actually fam,
That's
this
not-
ain't what they were talking about in this whole
People
chapter.
still do that. Like, you got to get context. Like, God said this, but do you know what he did before that?
Yeah, like that's when I actually stepped away from church after I read the entire Bible for myself.
Most people do.
And it was just like, oh, y'all really out here just
Doing stuff.
doing stuff. Like you are moving
You made
these
that up.
stories
Yeah.
to your own like divine of what you want. Like even how some churches use the book of Corinthians and Paul's letter and how women shouldn't be in the pulpit. I'm like, y'all actually Paul was talking to a certain church about a certain situation because they were just all out of order. And he was like, okay, these are the rules we need to put into place real quick till y'all get it back together. And y'all have taken that and ran and just been like, and used that as a way to like keep women out of the pulpit.
What's crazy is that there is real application to today's life. Like, we can do this right, guys. We can preach right.
We can do it.
We can do.
They don't want to.
They don't want to.
And it's crazy to me. It is so crazy. Yeah,
But that's a good point. So then when we came into this upbringing, we got conditions, and now we're carrying this. I'm gonna find the real fact, but it's about like 26,000 hours of parental conditioning that we have to decondition from age like up to 26 years old, something like that, and all of that is playing into us trying to find ourselves. So going into this, listen, I thought I was doing the right thing and got married at 18. One, it was a threat by my mother. And then two, it was my high school sweetheart. And I said, we're doing the right thing. God's going to accept us in heaven if we marry right now. But also I was like, young. I was a girl.
Yeah, but it's better to marry than burn. That's
Marry?
what they told.
Marrying the who?
It's better to marry than to burn.
Now, mind you,
shit.
I lost
Than to
my
burn in lust. They don't finish it. The other part is to burn in lust. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's better to marry than to burn in lust.
It's wild. So like, being a sucia in the streets since like what 12 grade, 12
La
years
sucia en la
old.
calle.
And the thing is,
Pause.
you
Define sucia for us.
You a hoe. You dirty.
Oh.
You just out there spreading your legs. You're gonna get pregnant at 8 years old.
You nasty
Hey.
girl.
You
You
nasty.
nasty. You nasty
Nasty.
girl. You nasty.
hold on, wait. Why did I not know this? And that's the name of our group message, right?
It is.
Are you
It is.
serious?
Oh, she did. Oh
Wait,
shit.
But it's because we're dirty,
But
my
sucia, the word sucia by itself means just
Dirty.
nasty or
Just
dirty.
dirty.
But when you call a girl that, it goes to pregnant at 8. I didn't even have a cycle.
Slut.
I mean, that's kind of that's the idea
I know.
behind it. You know, that's the driver behind it or
Yeah.
whatever. But in reality, like for us, it's just like we're willing to talk about all of those topics. And if our grandmothers or our great grandmothers heard us talking about these topics, we would be sucias.
See.
Sucias.
Well, I think even a lot of the times they called us sucia because we were beautiful. My cousins and aunts, by the time I was 14, they were thinking I was already promiscuous, and I was not. It was 4 years later, but from that, maybe 3, but from that time, like I'm 14 years old, and you label me as, they would say things like that, sucia, and I hadn't done anything, but I had to because I was beautiful. But instead of telling me I was beautiful, I was just already labeled as a promiscuous child.
I mean, that kind of happens in the black community. She fast.
But
And be like, why we sexualizing our girls?
right, consider the timeline of when they say this to you. It's right when you're developing, right when you're most vulnerable, most impacted by
Hormones
any of
everywhere.
your influencers. And as soon as these came in, I cut these titties.
She's
in
pointing
half.
to her boobs, yes.
I cut these titties in half.
How old were you when you got them?
Thanks for the visual.
How old when what?
When you got titties, how old were you?
9.
Yeah.
What grade is that?
Fourth.
So I was in 3rd grade with a B cup with a Pooh Bear shirt on.
No, I was in.
I felt terrible because I'm like, I want to wear this Pooh Bear shirt, but B cups don't fit in Pooh Bear shirts.
But also, go ahead.
I would say I had breasts from as early as I think 2nd grade. Like I remember at least being a solid C, D, 2nd grade, and and then I started my period. I think in 4th grade, and I was like one of the only girls that started their period.
Yeah.
And so it was always like this thing of, I'm going to the nurse. I need to lay down. Like all of these things, and all the other girls was like, "What's going on? What's happening?" It's just what it was. I don't know
And
why.
then even at a young age, and Mika, maybe you've heard this, ella tiene un cuerpo.
Yeah, like she got a body on her. Just because you're filling out, it's so messed up because
It's the
I
chicken.
don't know why, but there's always that. I don't want to say dirty uncle because my uncle wasn't dirty, but there is always an uncle
There's
or a
always a
cousin or a granddad or somebody in the family that's like, they have a comment to make about your boobs or they have a comment to make about your butt or whatever when you're filling out growing up, and you're like, this is just my body.
Right.
I can't help it. Like
I didn't go get this.
Yeah, and I remember I started and by the way, disclaimer, y'all will probably see this, but most of us are buxom. We got We got boobs.
I got these titties.
But I say that to say that, we developed pretty early, but I developed my boobs around like 12 and 13. Yeah. And I remember how quickly it changed. Because I grew up on a block in New York where I was there since I was like really little, since I was like, I think in like 2nd or 3rd grade. So we were all, outside playing and shit, because that was the time that we used to be outside playing in the street, kickball, whatever, was stickball, whatever. And I remember how the boys changed. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really notice the boys as much when they're changing, because sometimes they're not growing facial hair as fast as we are, or their voice isn't changing as fast as we're developing. But I remember, like, we were all of a sudden a fucking spectacle for these guys.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
You got boobs now.
I remember walking down 183rd with my dad, Grand Concourse, and I'm 12, full C cup, walking down with my dad, and the construction guys, hey, yo, look that, woo! They're catcalling all of it. Mm-hmm. And my dad turns around, he's like, this is my daughter. And they said, good job.
What?
Dude.
Nigga. Fighting words.
That's terrible. Did your daddy punch you?
Out of line.
No, they're in the skyscraper things. And
I would have jumped up there.
Listen, we kept walking, but the thing is, my dad saw me. That's when he was like, because he saw me still as a little girl without the body. But he saw me, and he told his girlfriend, yo, take her shopping, get her the right clothes, make her look presentable, because I got to figure this shit out. My father, and we'll go on to the next. My father taught me how to wash my period panties. Not my mom.
Oh, wow.
In the tub, he showed me, and it was wild. Mm-hmm. But, that's another story. Entonces, so with all of this, it seems like it's very similar. We got backgrounds going into now adulthood. And what were the thoughts, the underlining theme, the culture, religion phrases that kept coming up when you were trying to find your own identity, trying to find your own sexual agency, all of it?
No. You talking, I hear it right
What? No, what?
Just no. Ese no se hace.
That's the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God.
Don't let the devil use you.
Yep.
Yeah, I married early, but I was in the streets. I was a youth pastor.
Wait, what?
I was a youth.
Really? You was a youth?
I was a youth.
I keep learning new things about you. How long I known you? Like 6 years. It's like a surprise side.
Wait,
I was a youth pastor.
Pause. Everybody is gonna learn that Frankie has done everything. She's done everything.
Yeah.
Everything under the sun.
Go ahead.
Like, lead with that.
Right.
You was a youth pastor. Like, that explains. Frankie's a very
youth leader.
Yeah, she's a leader still to this day.
She'll motivate you.
Exactly, she'll motivate you, but it would make a lot more sense if you would have led with that. Like,
when you started the story.
Exactly.
Well,
How long was your youth pastor?
I was a youth leader, for about 3 years, and I had a co-youth leader. And for her 25th birthday, because she was a few years older than me, I was married already. I took her to the strip club for her birthday.
Wow.
No, I was
on brand.
I was doing my thing on the side and still teaching God,
things.
I was still in the corner on the platform, and I was also in the street.
God is also in the strip club.
He
is. Don't let nobody.
Yeah.
He's everywhere.
Listen, he's everywhere.
Oh yeah, if God came back, or if the second coming of Christ, depending on what you believe, comes back at the moment, I don't think he's going to anybody's church. Definitely. I'm not going to anybody's church.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, that makes sense.
Frankie, the youth pastor.
I have a story about a youth pastor. My youth pastor in that Pentecostal church really liked me and wanted to talk to me, and I was a minor. And
how many times growing up
to be his girlfriend and everything? And I don't know if it's because that's the other thing. I'm not. Yo soy Latina. I'm half Hispanic. I'm half Latina. I'm not here to shit on people who are Hispanic or Latinos, but we know what the cultural conditioning was. And I remember being young and thinking that he thought it was okay for him to like me as long as he was a man of God and he was older, and he's like, well, this would lead to marriage. Nigga, I don't want to marry you. You ain't even cute. Like, and you got a little paterito truck over here on
What's
the corner.
a paterito truck?
That's the only thing I really want is to go get the empanadas. Free empanadas and Mori Soñando.
But Mika, what line did he hit you with?
I don't remember the line. I know that he kept inviting me to meet him, like
Prayer circle.
You know, he kept
Because there was something about you because you were mature.
He kept he kept offering to drive me home, and he would drive the van, and he always dropped me off last.
Was it white?
I lived the closest.
With Iglesia on the side.
I lived the closest.
Skirt.
What end is near? The end of my virginity, or like what end is near?
You would be married.
You know, God forgive me, and y'all forgive me, church folks, but what is the second coming? Was he trying to, because he was not going to have the first coming. I did not like him. There was nothing there for me, and he was persistent, and it was so uncomfortable.
Now I want a picture.
My church, like my youth pastor.
It's gross.
Was he over the age of 18?
Yes, he was, very much.
Then that would have been a
That was a minor.
pedophile.
Cements it.
Ugh. But they don't, you know, that is something that, you know, we don't talk about. Like, Frankie was just saying that walking down the street as a child who was developed, grown men were hollering at her. And that's something, of course, that in New York you see all the time. I don't know how it is in the South.
Grab the elbow.
Mm-hmm. They'll touch
Hey,
you.
Ma.
Yeah.
Hey, Ma.
They'll come walk with you.
The worst, and this just came up in my Facebook news feed. It was a video of this man trying to holler at me and talk to me. And he kept saying, "You remind me of my daughter."
Oh,
and I was like, "Do you hear the words that are coming out of your mouth? That doesn't sound appealing, sir. You remind, like, he was like, yeah, I think you're about the same age as my daughter."
Was he an older man? Like,
he wasn't that, like, this was probably like 4 or 5 years ago, and he was probably like in his 40s. And I'm just like, sir, do you even hear yourself? Like, what are you saying right now?
Yeah.
Like, how does that sound good to you? And it's just like so many, I'm not going to say so many men, I'm not going to generalize all men, but I just feel like men think that it is okay to, like, date younger. Like, but, like, what is the boundary, though? What is the bottom floor? Yes, I know girls develop earlier now. Like, girls be out here looking like they 25, 30, and they're 12 or 14. But it's just like, but once you find out they 12 or 14, you should step away. You should step away. And I feel like some people don't.
And they will tell you she act grown. She act grown.
but she is not.
Oh, they'll excuse you. Go ahead.
No, that's exactly what they're saying.
Yup.
Thank you for that.
I feel like my wholesome was when I got pushed into therapy because I got to be descriptive. I was in the same cycle of, like, dating the same, like, toxic men. And I was crying over an unemployed diabetic crackhead with kids.
Wait.
Is that my ex? Did he have eye problems? Was it in Texas? He was in Texas?
Y'all hoes ain't got no standards.
Wait, hold up.
No standards.
I just want to know, did he live off of I-20 or 30? Look, no, just go ahead. Just
Wait, when you say off of, you mean like he was under it?
And he was generating tears
Y'all not
from
answering?
me.
For why?
Exactly. I am employed. I have health insurance. I won't beat you up right now because, you know, the injuries that I'm gonna give you, you can't get them fixed. You ain't got health insurance. I won't fight anybody that ain't gonna got health insurance. All right?
Why not?
That's good. That's good.
I'm gonna start saying that, like,
valid.
bitch, you ain't even
That's
got health
valid.
insurance. You're not worth my
Exactly.
time.
Like,
Bitch, you got Aetna?
Is it PPO or
Aetna, we're
HMO?
looking for sponsors.
like he didn't even, the fact that you unemployed, you didn't even sign up for Medicaid. But anyways, and you need insulin. He was up, and this was this was like going into COVID, so he wasn't even taking COVID seriously. And then, mind you, like, I get upset about it because he survived COVID.
The
And
people
so
who
many
didn't need to
others.
survive
That's what I'm
COVID
saying.
survived
Like,
that shit.
Guys,
You diabetic.
No, I'm just saying, I'm like, you should have got. You're
You
unhealthy.
diabetic. You need insulin. You a crackhead. You can't eat
Crack or Coke, because that's different.
No, I know. You unemployed. You tell me it's Coke, but I know it's crack.
Because crack is cheap.
Crack is cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you really
That's
don't
right.
play yourself.
Yeah.
Nippy said it.
You don't, like you were saying, let's be real. Yeah, so when I was crying, and I remember crying to my dad about it. And I shout out, like, I love my dad for that. Like, he never judged me because he knows, like, I just love hard. And then within like a 30-day span, like, in my head, I thought I was gonna meet his kids, and I don't know what, I shouldn't have touched that, but I did, and I was crying. And I thought we were gonna have a relationship, and he played me, really. And like I'm a really giving person within a relationship, and I'm like, why am I doing this? Why didn't I like see the red flags?
Yeah.
I didn't see the red flags. I'm
You
like,
try to paint them pink.
Yeah.
She was looking.
It's not red. It's like a magenta.
Yeah. It did.
I didn't get what you were saying, but now I get it. Yeah. I was like, what? That's a beautiful flag.
Exactly.
Right.
That's a beautiful flag. That's a high flying flag and forever. Okay, stop.
No, but
Whoa.
like I should have saw that, but I didn't. So I knew, and then even and God bless my sister. Like, I'm crying to her about it, but at that point too, she looked at me like, I got my own shit to worry about. You know what I'm saying? And that's real, because I can't put that burden on her. So I'm like, who can I?
Crackhead. I would have said the same thing.
I know, but I did. So I'm like, I have no choice. So I went to therapy. I was kind of getting discouraged because it's like I'm already at like 2 therapists in. I wasn't vibing with them, and it was until I found until I went to my 3rd therapist, like just started working with her, and then boom, I found it. I found her, but then what I should have led with is I always thought I was kind of better than other girls, like in a sense that I had a great dad. So I was like, I don't got daddy issues, but I dated like I did. Come to find out, those weren't daddy issues; those were mommy issues. And I was dating people that reminded me of my mother, and then now going through the unraveling of that, and why I look for those men that just give me those like small gratifications that were filling the voids in my heart that I should have been feeling myself. And then that just, and the reason I went into therapy, and I was already like 2-3 years in the comedy at this point. And the reason I knew I had to do something, because I wasn't doing it to protect myself, but it was affecting my comedy. So I wanted to protect my comedy more than I wanted to protect myself, because I wasn't able to do it. I wasn't able to be in that space to create. And then starting to heal myself, I put me back in my space, and let alone I learned to love myself, protect myself. Therefore, I still have comedy.
You learn to nurture yourself.
Right.
Yes.
Speaking of loving yourself, so as we talked about in the first episode, I did a thing this year, and a big thing, and my therapist was like, and my therapist was like, do you know what you've done? And I'm like, huh? And I was like, what you mean? And she's like, ma'am, you came in here in January, said you're done teaching. And I was like, I am. And she was like, but you didn't know what you were going to do? And she's like, you're already working in the field. Like, do you realize what you've done?
Quick.
And she's like, your homework is to realize what you have done. And I was like,
Speaking of that, I got homework from my therapist. Lord Jesus.
Oh, girl.
that homework. They're like, you do your homework, huh?
I'd be like that worksheet's empty. I was like, fuck.
So this is why I'm here, because I can't follow through.
Yeah. Which proves her point.
So after, like, when we came back from the pandemic, I mean, Khira can backdoor this. Teaching is not what it used to be. I used to love coming to work, love my kids, and the past 2 years, I've been in 3 schools in the past, since 2020. And I was like, okay, maybe it's a school. Okay. And so I went to a different school, and I'm like, I love this school, but no, y'all not trying to pay me. I said, I got bills. This ain't it. 45? I got 2 degrees, my guy. Girl, yes.
What school district was that?
It wasn't a school district. It was a charter. Loved it. But I was like, I wrote it. I was like,
I was like,
baby, I got bills, and I just bought this expensive ass car. It's a no for me. So then I went to the school I'm at now, and I was like, okay, this is a black school. This is gonna be better. No. Now, so I'm like, I'm unhappy. Like, I'm coming to work 20, 30 minutes late, and my motto is, you lucky I showed up. And it's affecting my relationships. I'm snapping on my friends, or I'm snapping on the kids, like, for doing kid shit because I'm not happy. And so I was like, okay, something got to go. But then...
I was going to say, I think that it is beautiful that you recognize that in yourself. Because
Yeah.
some teachers feel that way, but
Girl.
they're like, I'm not going to leave.
Because some...
And
I was, yes.
And
it
I
was
apologized
with
to my kids. Like, I was like, damn, I kind of cussed them out. I was like, baby, I'm so sorry. It wasn't you. It's okay, Miss Thomas. I teach ESL. That's how they say my name. Miss Thomas. Miss Thomas. So I was like, I'm sorry. Mi siento. Wait, is that sorry?
Lo siento.
Lo siento. And they like when I speak Spanish. So I was like, I can't do this shit no more, bro. This gotta go. But then I was sitting there like, what the fuck am I gonna do? The only thing I know how to do is be in the military and be a teacher. That is all that I have done. So what am I gonna do? So I lit my little white candle. I put on my little meditation music, and I just laid there, and I was like, and I was like, Krystle. And she was like, yes. And I was like, what would you do if money wasn't an option? And I sat up and I was like, God, that's it. I'm going to be a doula. And a lot of people who've had babies that are my friends, they were like, yes, yes, yes. Because I've always been like, oh, you having a baby? Let me deliver it. Let me catch your baby. I want to do it. And so I think later, doulas are not midwives. Don't get confused.
Yeah,
I'm the help of the mother, but I do plan to become a midwife
support.
later. I'm just a
Emotional
support. So that was, my like, oh my gosh, like, you're not happy, do something that happened and the money will flow. My biggest fears was I wasn't gonna get paid, and I'm already working as a postpartum doula, and I'm doing it, and it's, when you align with your purpose,
There you go.
everything flows, baby.
There you
Everything
go.
flows. The blessings
That's right.
are flowing down, and I'm doing it. And I can't wait till the last day of school. Why are we still in school?
like
I'm tired.
I feel like, we talked about church, but there were definitely some great things that we learned in church, and I can
Yes.
say that for myself. And one thing that the preacher used to say was, God will give you provision for the vision. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you have all you gotta do is act. I don't act a lot of times, and so that definitely resonates with me, because I found that when you start moving in the direction that you want to go, people and resources just kind of come to you.
Right, like the doula who trained me, shout out to Yenny, because she said she's going to listen to the podcast, but Dominican woman, I met this woman on LinkedIn. I said, hey, it looks like you're in Dallas-Fort Worth. I want to be a doula. Can I? And she's like, well, I actually have a training program, and we talk about culture. And I was like, ooh, bomb. And she's like, we do both. And I was like, sign me up. How do I pay you? And we have grown into this friendship. And she, hey, girl, I thought about you this week. What do you think about helping teen mothers? What do you think about doing this? And when she told me that I didn't have to worry about work because she was going to help me get the work, listen, that woman changed my life. And I'll say it till I'm blue in the face.
But okay, so we're all trying to find ourselves in deconditioning ourselves. All that church shit is not for me. However, the spirituality and the lessons I learned, like you said, is definitely what I'm taking with me. Mental health is important. Saw therapists. I've been in therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy. Shout out to CBT. That helps, and there's plenty of other methodologies for therapy, but coming to a point of accepting yourself, knowing what you know, letting go of the bags that you don't want to hold on to. Bag lady,
You gon' miss your bus. Listen, that was a word that I did not understand
And now
until
you
a
do.
couple of years ago.
Right.
Because you're going to miss your bus. You're going to miss your blessings. You keep
That's
dragging
right.
all them bags like
that.
that.
bags like that.
Because no one ever told you.
No one.
Shout out to Erica.
All
She
you
from
must
Dallas.
hold on to
Oh no, I know where she lives.
It's
We can
you.
stalk her.
What?
is you.
I want to have tea with Erica. Erica, if you're listening, baby, please invite me over to tea. Drake had tea.
You know
I
what?
want
We're
tea.
putting it in the air. Erica Badu, we're gonna interview you.
She's a doula, and I want her to sing Yayo as I push my baby out. So Erica, I want you to be
God.
birth
doula.
No, she's birth doula. She does both. She does
Okay.
both. She does both.
Well, shit. So, with all that said, I'm still learning. I think we're all still learning.
Definitely.
We're forever students. And as long as we remain forever students, we're going to be all right.
Yeah. For sure. And no matter where you are in your journey, you're still the expert in your life. You don't, you don't have to have all the answers, but you are the expert in your life. And, follow that internal barometer, follow that internal thing that says, like, I think it's time that I talk to somebody else about this because maybe I'm bleeding onto too many other people.
Right.
Or maybe I've run out of the coping mechanisms that I thought I developed for myself. Those are not working. I'm continuing to rehearse the same, to relive the same patterns, to repeat the same cycles. I think, I think we all come to a point in our life, and if you haven't yet, you will come to a point in your life where you decide, like, this shit right here is not it. Whatever that is, be it a relationship, be it what you were taught growing up, as far as religion. And we're not bashing religion or church, but for me and for many of us on the podcast, we've explained that was a big part of our conditioning. And so having to accept yourself and show up authentically is difficult to do when you think that you're supposed to follow a mold, and you think that you're supposed to follow like this framework that was given to you, that people who are giving you the framework haven't perfected themselves. So I also think it's very important to rise to the occasion. So Krystle, I have to commend you because we know that maternal mortality rates amongst Black women the numbers are horrifying. So I have to commend you for the work that you're doing, and also for acknowledging, like Khira said, that when you decided this wasn't what you wanted to do, teaching, that you said you were going to step away. I have always felt strongly about that. I feel like if you, in any role that you are working with people, when you realize that that's not it, before you burn out, move. Because burning out is not good for you, but you're also not helping.
I'm not helping.
So I did social work for years, but I wasn't dealing with my mental health. And so I was tired of dealing with other people's mental health issues and other people's problems, because I'm like, bitch, I got my own problems. But, they're probably like, but bitch, you being paid to help me with mine. And I'm like, well, shit, who's helping me? I need a case staffing.
Where's my social worker?
Facts. So I love that we're all in therapy, no matter where you are in your journey in therapy. I think it's super important. I appreciate this conversation. Thank you for joining us. Join us again next week. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I'm Mika. You can find me at Bronxtress on Instagram. That's BONX. Ooh, excuse me. I'm misspelling my own. That's at BRONXTRESS.
And this is Frankie Benz signing off. Find me at Frankie Does Comedy. Frankie with an I-E.
This is Khira. You can find me at Khira Haley on Instagram. KHIRAHAILEY.
This is Alex. You can also find me on Instagram at Alex Barrios Comedy, and Barrios is BERRIOS.
And this is Krystle. You can find me at KTO6, and that's KAYT06. And this is
Kink'D AF. And if you want to connect with us, please follow our Instagram at Kink'D AF, and also you can email us at info@kinkedaf.com. Thank you.
We out.
we out for real this time.
Bye-bye.